As we go to air, the world is on a knife's edge, with Israel launching targeted strikes on Iran. The IDF says it's preparing to intercept 100 retaliation drones hurtling towards Israel. The attack comes after days of escalating tensions over Iran's alleged efforts to develop nuclear weapons technology. Iran says 3 top military officials have been killed in the strikes, as well as 6 nuclear scientists and a number of civilians. Israel has declared a state of emergency in anticipation of retaliatory strikes.
Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat.
We're live from the lands of the Kulin Nation, and journalist Maya Siminovich joins us now from Tel Aviv. Maya, are people there supportive of these strikes?
Israeli, if it's something, it's a very divided country. There is a narrative of Iran is going to attack us anytime soon, which is what the government said. This is why they carried on the preemptive strike. And there are many people that think that this is an existential situation. And if Israel did not attack or doesn't attack like it did, and it only started, I should remember that the army said this is only the beginning of a war. And Iran replied accordingly, this is a war. We don't know where it's going to lead us, but most people think that Iran should be stopped in some way and should not have nuclear weapons. And this is more or less what happened in the last hours, that Israel destroyed many of its capabilities, nuclear sites, and also missiles of long range.
Well, the IDF also says that Iran has launched retaliation strikes. How fearful are people over there?
People are fearful. There's no doubt about that. Also, they're kind of resignated. There's nothing you can do, you know. And also, since I was going to say something less real than when the missiles are flown from Gaza or Lebanon or even Yemen, there is a feeling, there are booms that you hear when it's Iran, like today. Apparently more than 100 drones, suicidal drones, were launched to Israel. And we've just been informed that the threat is no longer a threat because the Air Force, Israeli and also Jordanian, stopped them. So in this case, it's a matter of faith. We didn't hear, we didn't see. We were scared for many hours, didn't sleep at night. And this is what happened in this first stage. Iran is promising much more. So we're waiting.
Well, we appreciate the update and thank you for your time, Maya.
You're welcome.
To more news now, and India is in mourning after suffering one of the worst aviation disasters in the country's history. The death toll from the Air India plane crash has risen, with confirmation at least 24 people were killed on the ground, adding to the 241 on board. The flight was headed for London's Gatwick Airport when it crashed in Ahmedabad. The cause is still unclear. Remarkably, a British man from Leicester survived while his brother remains unaccounted for.
This is a miracle he survived. What about the other miracle from my other brother? Just hearing about this crash. I'm scared to fly now, just to even stay on a plane now.
Terrifying scenes in Sydney's west this morning after an explosion at a Lidcombe apartment block left 2 men in hospital and forced dozens to evacuate. It tore through a second-floor apartment with part of the building blown out. New South Wales Police are continuing investigations into the cause. Tonight, 11 residents are in emergency accommodation, and it's unclear if and when they can return home.
I was having a cup of coffee and then I heard 2 loud bangs.
Very close. It was like boom.
First, when I heard it, I thought it's an earthquake. That is so I just ran. Very powerful, very powerful.
And get the breaking news strap ready, because if you thought drying clothes in warm weather is faster, you may actually be wrong. Science says it's a little more complicated, with our clothes actually drying faster in the cooler months. Oh, I don't think so. Experts believe humidity slows down the drying process, which is more common in summer. Other factors include wind and air temperature. So the best time to put out your wet clothes is when there's low humidity and a little bit of wind. There's no way. There's absolutely no way.
Who are these scientists?
Yeah. I don't know.
Who's sitting there going, cold weather. Like, no one's drying their clothes in humidity. That's not a thing that people do.
You don't put them in the pool and just be like, yeah, great, 100% humidity,
Oh,
perfect.
yes, and they come out crisp. A bit chlorine-y, but it's worth it.
It is going to shock you. I am not a scientist, but I disagree. And I don't understand this.
Yeah, I think that you're right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'd rather talk about the fact that apparently this just coming in off our own Instagram. Luigi is the hottest character to women in Nintendo. What is going on?
So...
It is Wario with his sexy mustache and you know it.
he's not.
Yeah, but we all get over our bad boy stage at, one point, so...
Okay, so when I'm with my wife, sometimes I say, let's go.
Too much.
Anyway, in Melbourne today, this is other big news.
Oh.
This slipped through the tunny net. An old person turned over 100 years old.
What?
And Tunny did not get the scoop.
I wasn't there.
No, June, a lovely young lady, turned 101. And her family were only too happy to share her secrets, as we all want to know, what's the secret to longevity?
Yeah.
She doesn't like tap water, she prefers flat lemonade.
We even have a sign on the door, no water jug, in capital letters. She has her lemonade.
No mushrooms on the... Say
that again?
No mushrooms.
Oh, I don't know if that's just recently. Oh, my God.
So, her material's topical. I'll give her that, absolutely. And I'm being told by the lawyers that's all I'm allowed to say about that.
Great.
What are you going to do, fire me?
And also, for those who do love our centenarian series, rest assured, Rove, I have managed to find another 100-year-old, and we will be talking to them at the end of the show.
Does she have funky glasses?
Well, you'll just have to wait and see. That's what we call a tease. We're going to go to a break, and we'll see you on the other side. Welcome back. You're watching The Project.
Comedian Danny McGinlay has taken his stand-up to the front line, rallying fellow comics to support the Ukraine crisis appeal, providing life-saving aid for the war-torn country, and it's a cause very close to his heart.
Whenever I mention my wife is Ukrainian, people do have set questions. Yes, her family are safe. We got them out after the invasion. To answer your other question, yes. No, don't clap, because the other question is, there are some I want to send back.
Danny joins us now! Hello! Which makes sense now. I see why we played that. So you mentioned you're married to a Ukrainian. Does that mean you had any choice but to say yes to putting this event together?
Yeah, she was there with her hair in curlers and a rolling pin going, you will create show for me. No, I got to say...
You can do that accent.
Yeah. I'm allowed to, yes.
I'm not.
So I believe...
I could do it, actually.
Oh, you do it?
I think I could... No, it's fine.
Okay.
Sorry,
Let's have a turn.
No, you go.
I did bring in a photo of my wife just to explain why I'm doing these shows. So when you are, look at that, I fully admit I am the undisputed world heavyweight champion, a baton above his average. And in order to maintain that, when your wife's homeland gets invaded, you do what you can.
It's just the right gentlemanly thing to do.
So, yeah.
So where does the household sit between the Aussie side of things and Ukrainian side of things? Like, are you bilingual?
No, not even slightly.
What language are you speaking of?
We're speaking barely English, because I mean, my dad's from Glasgow, so no one can understand what we're saying. I did do some Ukrainian lessons, because I've been to Ukraine a few times.
Right.
I don't remember too much. I do remember how to swear, because that's all that Australians want.
Yeah.
And I can actually say it at this time slot. The worst thing you could say to a Ukrainian is "Yach tebe kachka kopnula."
We apologise to our Ukrainians.
The literal translation, though, is why doesn't a duck kick you?
Oh, why is that the worst thing?
I think it's an old gypsy curse. I'm not sure.
Oh.
But the best use for Ukrainian is road rage. Because if someone cuts you off and you're like, hey, mate, what are you doing? They don't care. They cut you off. Hey, Vasily Sviat! That means Merry Christmas, but they don't know that.
Yeah, it does seem very aggressive.
Wishing a duck would kick somebody.
How? Where are its knees? Let's think about that.
That's a very good question.
How about senses of humour then? Like, does that translate over in Ukraine? Like, what is the Ukrainian humour?
The Ukrainians, they're pretty funny. They've got They are a lot like Australia. Like, they live in hardship. We here in Australia live in a country that's designed to kill us with, you know, floods and drought and spiders and snakes and sharks.
The ducks don't kick us, though.
The ducks don't kick us, thank heavens. But they live in, you know, nuclear winter and Chernobyl and Russia right next door. So you have this same sort of just approach to life of laughter, but they're a bit more reserved. Like, I did a show once, a comedy show here in Melbourne, and my father-in-law came and sat front row centre. And all the other comedians were like, what's with that guy at the front? He's not laughing at all. He's just standing there, just...
Oh.
And then I was doing my set, and it was going all right, and then I locked eyes at him at one point, and he just went... That is a Ukrainian standing ovation.
Oh.
That's the biggest you will ever get.
Danny McGinlay, you are a close friend of the show. You are such a good egg with all the work that you do. You've got people like Jamoan, Celia Piccola, Tom Gleeson on the lineups. It's hard to sell that sort of a all-star lineup, I'm guessing.
Oh, it's very hard. You just tell the... No, it's brilliant. So many... You know, the great thing about the comedy community is everyone does want to help. And everyone wants to help in public, be seen to be helping. So, yeah, you get big names like Ross Noble and Stephen K. Amos, and they are just so happy. I've actually had to turn comedians away when I'm announcing I'm doing it. They will say, like, can I get on? Can I get on? I want to help. And you have to say, I'll put you on next year, Dilrook, relax. And...
He gets it.
He gets it. He performed this year in Melbourne. He was brilliant.
But you've raised heaps. You've raised over $25,000, I believe, over the time that you've been putting on these shows. What's the goal? What do you want to hit?
Well, I said foolishly. We got the first time we did it, we were did it in Melbourne. It was like a few weeks after the invasion. And I got a sold-out show at Melbourne Comedy Festival at the Melbourne Town Hall. And I got a rush of blood because the crowd was so up for just, you know, cheering on Ukraine. And I said, we're going to do this every year until the war's over. And now I've got to do that. So I keep going until Putin surrenders, really, because that's what we're going for.
Well, look, in the words of your father-in-law... Merry Christmas! The next fundraiser for Ukraine heading to Brisbane and Sydney, so make sure you get your tickets. Please thank Danny McGinlay! Welcome back. This is The Project.
Now, tonight, hundreds are dead as an Air India flight bound for London crashed just seconds after takeoff. A single passenger miraculously survived the crash. It comes as the Indian government considers grounding its entire Boeing fleet. Vishwash Kumar Ramesh, the sole survivor from Air India Flight 171, somehow walking away from the devastation.
When I got up, there were bodies all around me. I was scared. I stood up and ran. There were pieces of the plane all around me.
The plane from Ahmedabad to London crashed into a medical hostel in the state of Gujarat just seconds after leaving the runway.
What has happened in Ahmedabad is a very tragic accident. We have lost a lot of people.
A tragic accident leaving families devastated.
My son went to the hostel to have his lunch. The plane crashed at the hostel.
My daughter-in-law, Vadi Chand is her name, was on the flight. I dropped them to the airport and came home when we got the message that the plane had crashed.
The deadliest airline disaster in years, leaving smoke and parts of the plane visible for kilometres. Experts shocked.
Crashes off of aircraft on takeoff are absolutely rare. And if you look at the number of aircraft that leave every single day, this is an exceptionally traumatic situation.
Among the dead, passengers from India, Canada and Britain, as well as 11 children.
I'm totally shaken by the incident that has happened today near Ahmedabad airport. Very tragic and very, very horrific. And even till now, I have to say I'm in a state of shock.
Flight tracking software revealing the plane flew from Delhi to Melbourne the Sunday before its fatal crash. Sole survivor, Vishwash Kumar Ramesh, escaping through an emergency exit window and walking away from the disaster from seat 11A.
An acrid smell of burning rubber, wood, plastic hangs thick in the air here at the crash site.
A British national, Ramesh was visiting his family. His brother Nayan revealing the moment he heard the crash.
He video called my dad. As he crashed, he said, "Our plane's crashed." All of that. I don't know where my brother is. I don't see any other passengers. I don't know how I how I'm alive, how I exited the plane.
Ramesh alive, but his other brother RJ, who was with him on the plane, remains unaccounted for.
I've got no words to describe it. It's a miracle he survived. What about the other miracle for my other brother?
Aviation expert Richard de Crespigny is here to help us make more sense of this. Richard, when you heard that there was one person who survived this crash, did you, like the rest of us, even believe it?
No, I didn't, because the crash site is so horrible, and the way the aircraft, that the building the aircraft flew into and the tail had been ripped off, I didn't expect any survivors at all. So that person is extremely fortunate. I don't know how he survived, to be honest.
What was it about seat 11A or that position on the plane that allowed this man to survive, or are you as baffled as we are?
I'm certainly as baffled as you are, because normally the safest place in an airplane is down the back, and after all, that's where the flight data recorder and the voice recorder is, so they don't get damaged. And I guess the good news is that those boxes have been recovered, and we'll get information as to what happened and why and how we can prevent it happening again.
Well, hopefully that data will shed some light, as you say, Richard, but there are plenty of theories about what caused this crash already. What do you think caused it?
OK, I'm only driven by facts, and at the moment, the remarkable thing about this flight is it was only 33 seconds from the time it left the ground to the time it impacted the ground. This is no time to run checklists, so whatever happened was severe and really quick. So it could have been one engine failure, two engine failures, bird strike, a fuel problem. Maybe there's pilot error, but we don't know, and so we just have to wait until the investigators analyse the flight data recorder and the voice recorder. They'll know what happened inside the aeroplane mechanically and electronically. They'll know what the pilots did, and so they will be able to come up with the broad facts that we could then use to maybe draw some conclusions. Now, normally the first report comes out in 30 days, but when there is significant interest and the world is following this story, the first data may come out in 7 days.
Do you think that there will be questions as well about Boeing's safety record after this?
Look, I understand Boeing's in the news. It's had some unfortunate history in the last 20 years. But no, I don't believe this is I don't have the proof, but my instinctive reaction is I don't expect this is a problem with Boeing. The 787 first flew in 2009. The first aircraft was delivered to ANA in Japan in 2012. 1,200 of them have been built. There was an initial problem with battery fires, but that was resolved. And so since then, the aircraft for the last 13 years has had a really smooth flying, and I think it's been very successful, and we're seeing an excellent Boeing aircraft that has come to grief for some reason. Now, no one wants to have an accident, but the nice thing is we will discover all the contributing factors that cause this accident. All the regulation and procedures and policies in aviation are written in blood from the previous accidents. And so we will learn from all these things, we will make changes, and aviation will hopefully stop this happening again.
Well, we can't wait for those answers, but in the meantime, Richard, thank you very much for your insight.
My pleasure.
Well, staying overseas, and a drone attack on Israel is underway from Iran, a response to Israeli strikes on suspected nuclear weapons development sites. The world holding its breath as the crisis escalates.
Moments ago, a loud noise was heard from a part of Tehran. The source of these sounds are still unknown.
Explosions over Tehran, sirens across Jerusalem. Overnight, Israel launched a series of what it called preemptive strikes on multiple Iranian sites, including the capital.
For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons.
The Israeli PM said the attack was needed to stop Iran's growing nuclear capabilities.
This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat.
Israel hit nuclear facilities, weapons depots, labs and the homes of senior officials. 6 nuclear scientists are reported dead, as is the Armed Forces Chief of Staff, the former National Security Chief and the head of the Revolutionary Guards.
With this atrocity, the Zionist regime has prepared a bitter and painful fate for itself, and it will undoubtedly receive it.
Iranian state television reporting children were among those killed in the strikes. In the light of day, citizens surveyed the damage, buildings still on fire, others hollowed out. Some partially collapsed. Iran has now closed its airspace and Israel has done the same. A state of emergency declared as the IDF reports it's preparing to intercept 100 retaliatory drones.
It is crucial that you take shelter in the best way possible, whether in your private home or in public space.
The US says it has no involvement in the strikes and warned Iran against retaliating against American forces. Shortly before the attack, Donald Trump was asked this.
Mr. President, how imminent is an Israeli strike on Iran?
Well, I don't want to say imminent, but it looks like it's something that could very well happen.
Australians in this area of the Middle East have been urged to monitor the Smart Traveller website.
We call on all parties to refrain from actions and rhetoric that will further exacerbate tensions.
Heightened tensions now seem inevitable, a nervous world fearing what comes next. Dr Rodger Shanahan is an ex-army officer now, a Middle East analyst. Roger, the Israeli government says these strikes prevented the imminent development of an Iranian nuclear bomb. Are they right?
Well, there's obviously conflicting evidence here. About 2 months ago, the United States Director of National Intelligence said that there was no indication that Iran was attempting to weaponise their stockpiles and that there was no indication the Supreme Leader had ordered that to occur. The Israelis are saying that there was an imminent threat. So there's obviously a disconnect between the stories being told.
What do you think the motives are for this, though, maybe on either side here? So if potentially there is this Iranian nuclear bomb being developed, how much could these strikes delay that?
Listen, that's one of the issues that tells against these kind of strikes. A kind of kinetic strike that we're seeing at the moment can put back weapons development if that's what's occurring by indeterminate amount of time. But conversely, by doing these attacks, then the Iranians, if they weren't developing weapons prior, will certainly try and do it after, or if they were, they'll just accelerate. And so unless you can guarantee that you destroy the whole thing, then you're only going to guarantee yourself a relatively short period of time.
Around the world, people are watching this unfold, feeling, I imagine, terrified of what could happen. What would it take to de-escalate this?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. It's going to take a significant international effort, and we're going to have to hope that the kind of targets that are selected or that are attacked are within the norms. And I suppose we don't want to see any of these types of attacks, but if they're confined to military targets or to nuclear officials and scientists attached to that, that may be within the accepted norms. But if we start seeing civilian casualties, then it's very difficult to rein this kind of tit-for-tat in.
Aren't we already seeing civilian casualties?
Yeah, certainly. But if we're talking about significant civilian casualties or civilian casualties that aren't related to immediate family members, perhaps, of targets, and that's one of the difficulties when you start this kind of military operation, that civilians will be killed because you're attacking targets in built-up areas, even if it's only senior government or senior military officials. They live with families in residential areas. All right, well, Roger, thank you very much for your time. My pleasure.
More news now, and British royalty has been rubbing shoulders with Hollywood royalty as King Charles's foundation marked a milestone 35th anniversary. Yep, Meryl Streep, Kate Winslet. Who's that?
The Tooch!
Yeah, Stanley Tucci, as well as football star
David Beckham.
Sir David Beckham.
Oh, damn it.
Were among the famous faces. They joined His Majesty at St James's Palace to celebrate global change makers and their impressive contributions. And is it brilliant or blasphemous? A man has gone viral for sharing his unique method of cutting an avocado. Whoa. He cuts the top off like a boiled egg, then he scoops the insides out and spreads it like butter. It's received a mixed reaction online, but some believe it stays fresher for longer this way.
You don't go down this way.
Oh, no.
Because that exposes a lot of surface area. You slice your avocado this way, and as you go down, it exposes a lot less of the surface area, and you just drop it right on a little plate.
I dare anyone not to try that. I mean, do you know what I mean? You see it.
Okay, dare taken.
No. The next time you have an avocado, you're going to try that.
I'm not that rich, Georgie. Oh my God.
I will totally try that. And I could see half of our audience, all their lovely faces were like this. Oh.
Why
As
can't
soon as
scientists just put their pens down on where clothes should be drying in cold weather or not, and just create an avocado that doesn't have a giant golf ball in the middle of it?
Oh, you're so right. A
Just
seedless
fix
avocado.
the ball problem.
Yeah.
Then I don't have to listen to some South African who, by the way, can't even butter his toast. Do you see that? He's like scooping it out and then it's like...
He's given up.
Anyway, Link from Legend of Zelda, the hottest Nintendo character.
Oh,
I mean, it goes without saying.
Also very good. That's a strong
I don't
call.
know anymore. Now, live TV is very hard to find a segue. You're right, Georgie.
It is.
But I've got one for you now. So here it's a long lead up.
Okay.
Let's see if you can pick what these two hosts are setting up.
Oh.
I mean, what is dad bod?
Someone who is loving life, doesn't have to hit the gym every single day, and is just,
that's a good way to describe it.
has a lot of zest for life.
Okay.
Bring the energy. Maybe a beer belly, but maybe not. people are craving
Dad
the dad bod
bods
these
are
days.
in.
Yeah.
It's a little like cushion when you're laying down. You don't want to. Okay, whatever.
Oh my God.
Just go
okay.
ahead.
Sorry. All right, well, we were talking golf.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because they're all in the avocados. That's why. That's why.
And that's the you put
That's
it together.
the link. There it is.
It pieced together so well. Now it's Friday the 13th, and the forecast may be gloomy and scary, but it's nothing but sunshine with our totally qualified weather wonder girl. It's Satellite Susie.
Hot, cold, I feel nothing. I'm kidding, I feel great acting. Here is your weekend weather. You're welcome. First to Brisbane, you're getting a taste of winter, ever heard of it? With the weekend high hitting 22, which is also what Georgie's tipped the Lions to beat the Giants by. Don't let my girl down. Yeah, Mama needs this right now, okay? Oh, Adelaide, sweet 16 and never been kissed, which, if Papa Yusuf is watching, was just like me in high school. What was that, Father? I should have finished my teaching degree as a backup. Agreed, but here we are. Okay. Hobart, hello down there. Just showcasing my voice work. Hobart, you're looking at tops of 14 and 15, you dark mofos. Please remember the naked solstice swim is next weekend, not this weekend, because the difference between art and a criminal offence is 1 week, trust me. Perth, is your heat wave officially over? Hard to tell, but by the looks of those white things Melbourne calls clouds gathering in the sky, tops of 21 in the state of the world, well, anything is possible. Canberra, you're set to be frostier than a greeting between Susan Lee and David Littleproud. Ooh, serious political commentator too. What can't she do? Sudoku. Darwin, way to put the win in Darwin with 30 degrees and sunny, and it's June and that's warm. 18 in Sydney, gosh, I remember those days. Or rather, I don't. Sip, sip, wink, wink. Let's head south like my enthusiasm for life. Minimum of 3 and maximum of 13, but enough about the number of computer monitors I'm going to try and fit in my handbag on the way out. Oh, Melbourne, it's winter, it's cold. We are not here for a long time, so rug up and hold your loved ones close. And don't forget to say hi to your thermometer for me.
I love it.
Oh, Susan.
Time for a break. We'll see you on the other side. Welcome back. This is The Project for another couple of weeks anyway.
That's right. And they say the older we get, the wiser we become. And to prove that, I've spoken to someone with a century's worth of wisdom under her belt. Meet the marvellous Mfanui. Action.
Action.
Master of the French language.
Bonjour. Bonjour, madame.
Comment ça va?
Ça va bien.
How was that?
Yes, that was all right.
It was all right.
C'était bien.
An international explorer and a centenarian.
I never thought I'd reach 100 for a start.
How old are you exactly?
In July, I'll be 101.
101?
Yes, in July.
Do you like being 100? Would you recommend it?
Oh, it's all right. I think 100's quite long enough.
Fun facts about 1924, the year Miff was born. The first Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade was held in New York City. The Godfather, aka Marlon Brando, was born.
You don't even think to call me Godfather.
And France hosted its second Olympic Games, a culture that became Miff's first true love and her second language.
I started by practicing the French R, which is difficult.
Yes. Can you teach me? Go.
Right at the back of your throat.
Born in Perth but raised in Melbourne, at 26, Mfanwe decided to quit her job and head abroad. For £40, she took an epic journey by boat across the globe.
It took about a month, and going through the Suez Canal, there was no air conditioning. It was unbelievably hot. And going through the Suez Canal was interesting.
Why?
People making rude gestures to us.
Really?
I remember that.
What were they doing?
Showing.
They were showing what?
Their bums.
They were mooning you.
Mooning us.
Mooning you.
Never heard it. The language has changed, you know. Sounds a lot more polite.
Well, that's a memory, though, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It stands out.
She made it to England, where she worked for 2 years. She was there for the late Queen Elizabeth's coronation.
I pray that the blessing of Almighty God may rest upon your councils.
She also managed to hitchhike around Europe. When you say you were hitchhiking, how did you hitchhike? Is that the same as my understanding of hitchhike? You're on the side of the road and put the finger up. Yeah, you got your thumb up.
Yes, and the people who gave us lifts were the most interesting part of the trip, in a way. They were wonderful, and they liked to hear about Australia. Oh, yes, they were very interested in Australia.
I find that when I travel now, people can't believe that we're over on the other side of the world. They're like, that's so far away. Was that what people thought when you were there?
Yes. How did you get to my village? I said, by kangaroo.
After that, she bounced over to Russia. It had just opened to Westerners.
People were very happy. The young people were. The old people were. They were sour.
Oh, don't you worry. A phone. Is it your phone?
Mine.
How do you go with your phone?
It's all right.
Do you use it a lot?
Oh, yes, I use it to call and Google.
What do you Google?
Anything I want to know. I think Googling's marvellous. I don't know what I'd do without Mr. Google.
Mfanwe's love of France never faded, and when she returned to Melbourne, she found her French beau, a Parisian cartoonist named Henri, in a French class.
There were 4 men playing cards, and they were very pleased to see us. They took us out to a cafe in Elizabeth Street where they served red wine in coffee cups.
What was it about him that caught your eye?
Oh, I don't know. I just thought he was pretty good.
Keeping her social calendar filled with French lessons, coffee dates and cinema sessions with friends, which Mfanwe reckons helped her make this milestone.
We go to a cinema about every 2 or 3 weeks and see foreign film as a rule. That's good for me because I can't hear. I like the subtitles, you see. Then we have lunch afterwards. We go to Laurel.
Oh, very nice.
Just light, you see, something light.
A macaron?
Oh, yes. It's not as good as it used to be, but it's still all right.
I can see that on a poster. Laurent. Not as good as it used to be, but all right. I hope you don't mind me saying, but I don't think people would believe that you're 100, nearly 101.
I've had a very calm sort of life. I haven't had any miseries at all. I think that helps. Happy life.
What's the key to a happy life, though?
Good luck.
And a bit of French charm. That was Miff.
These
so
have been
beautiful.
an absolute delight. Now, we're not done yet because she's not your last.
No.
But what have you gained from sitting down with our centenarians?
Oh, I think a real true appreciation for the power of community and just what that means, especially in your later years. because without that and without people to connect with, to keep you sharp, you really can deteriorate very, very quickly. So every centenarian that I've had the joy of talking to, they are still talking to as many people as they can. They catch up with their friends. They've got family that lives nearby. They have a support network there. And if you don't have that, it's just so much harder. Also, it's just the key to still having meaning in your life. Because when you reach a certain age, if you don't have that purpose, it becomes really difficult and the days become really, really very long. But you could see Miff there. I mean, she's just gorgeous and so giggly and still just loves having a laugh and loves having a little nap in her
And to
armchair
think when
every
she
day.
was born, mooning hadn't been invented.
I know!
Extraordinary.
See?
Even bums weren't around. But I love that you're saying, like, I genuinely love community, friendship, having meaning in your life. Also, most of them, whiskey hounds. Yeah. They are.
Oh, yeah.
They really are.
They love a drink.
And a bit of a spoiler, but we've got a very, very special end to the series next week with Peggy. She may get me drunk, so just wait and see that.
And she's 200 years old.
She's 200, yeah, 200. 200 and still going strong.
Beautiful.
Well, you're watching The Project. We'll be back after this. All right, music fans, it's time to give your lungs a workout. The world has been basking in 5 seconds of summer for 14 years. After tearing up the charts with the Aussie boy band, bassist and vocalist Calum Hood is stepping out on a solo venture. Today releasing his debut album, Order, Chaos, Order. Start your screaming now for Calum Hood! Yes!
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure to have you in.
Yeah, no.
You just made it in time.
I know.
There's not long left.
I heard the news.
It's going out of business.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It's crazy. Speaking of Order, Chaos, Order, your album out now.
Yeah.
As today.
Yep.
How are you feeling? Order or chaos?
Well, this, I mean, always chaotic, I think, a little bit, but, you know, my first time releasing a debut solo album, finding out the project is no longer going to be a thing in 2 weeks, so it's definitely been a little bit chaotic.
I'm sorry you both had to hear it from us.
No. I've got to make a call. Yeah. Calum, thank you so much for coming on. Order, Chaos, Order. That's how my parents named us as well, all six of the daughters. I'm second last. Anyway, long story. Why the title?
Yeah, I think for me, like making the album, those were just the main theme, the two main themes while I was creating it. And I think they just became, they both didn't have any positive or negative connotations. Like I needed them to coexist with each other, especially just as like, you know, as an artist and as a human, I think they just play a big role in my life.
It's interesting because you, not only is the whole album out today,
yes,
but you've released all of the music videos. So not only did you record all of the videos to your singles, but you've dropped them all on YouTube today. It feels like you're trying to get all your homework done before the school holidays. You've just like smashed it all out. What was the thinking behind this? That's a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm done after this. I'm done having a holiday.
A day of promo, all done.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think there was a lot of work, and I think that's what I'm realizing, you know, doing this kind of on the side as well as being in the band, is like how much work actually goes into being prepared to release an album. So it's made me feel just very grateful to be in the band as well. Yeah.
Well, does the fans' reaction though also make that worth it, that work? Because I mean, you can see our audience here. Everyone's looking at you so lovingly. But you also had a signing event today. I mean, 3,000 fans are there. Is it
Yeah, I mean, all the guys are about 7'5" anyway. I didn't know there was a spotlight to begin with, like, couldn't even see. But yeah, I think it just feels just very different. I mean, like, my soul and like my purpose lies within creating with the band, but doing this allows me just to kind of find myself as an artist a little bit more and hone in on that and my skills as a songwriter and stuff, so I can be better to perform with the band.
It must be fun though, in all honesty, having people truly appreciate you, and I mean like having that level of fandom. I think fun, but as someone who lives it, do you think sometimes it's too full on?
No, honestly, it's calmed down a little bit from what it used to be.
Okay.
A little worryingly. But I think now it's like, I think we're just better at handling it as well. And I think it's cool to see the fans like grow with us as well. Especially, I mean, the band has made 5 albums, so we've been around for 15 years. So yeah, it's just nice to be we're just traveling along on the same journey now.
So when you're turning up to a signing, what's the weirdest thing someone's bringing up to sign?
I got a Labubu.
Oh! How did they find one?
Are they like...
Hush your dirty mouth.
They're hard to get here.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, I got it in the back, so...
Oh!
Did you sign it? Or it was gifted to you?
It was gifted.
Oh my God! Are you giving it to people that may like them? You know, are you re-gifting?
Here's the big follow-up question: what colour/flavour is it?
There's flavours?
Yeah. Callum, we'll teach you. We'll teach you. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
Okay.
Don't you worry.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Callum, you are evidently a chill dude. Like you are a very chill.
You know, we really needed your energy today.
Yeah, we really. Actually, if you could stay here for 2 weeks, that would be great. But you, obviously, there is so much love for Five Sauce. There is so much love for you. America is one story, Australia is another. How do you compare the two as far as your energy in both of those places?
Yeah, I think my favourite thing about... I mean, I have a lot of favourite things about being in 5 Seconds of Summer, but one of my favourite things is kind of the community and environment that we've created, especially at our live shows. It just feels like whenever we play, it just feels like it's really full of hope and love. There's a lot of love and there's a lot of positivity, and it's very like welcoming environment for people. So that's kind of universal for our band. Yeah.
When you are back home, what's your favourite thing to do here? Other than be on the project, which sadly you won't be able to do soon. Yeah. But now,
well, I'm a pretty chill guy, so I just I love coffee. So I do a lot of...
You've never touched coffee. Listen to you. You don't know what coffee is.
I love coffee.
Okay.
And, a couple schooners never went awry.
Yeah.
But,
now, I know you're doing very well on your own anyway, but a lot of fans are going to want me to ask this question. If you had to kill a song, is it Don't Stop or Heartbreak Girl?
How do you know about this? How are you privy to this conversation?
We know. We're pretty chill too.
We have some insiders.
It would be Heartbreak Girl.
Yeah. Sorry, had to hear it.
A definitive answer.
And then also, what does this mean for Five Sauce? Whenever an artist goes solo, and I know the other boys have released their own stuff, what does this mean for you as a group? What's the future hold for you, all of you?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just we're a bit of a strange group because I feel like this in our group is just kind of necessary for us to do like this sort of thing, and I feel really lucky that we're able to give each other kind of, the freedom as artists to discover ourselves like this. So it means, moving forward, a great deal of things.
Together? Or separately?
Together.
Together. Yeah. There we go.
The boo-boos for all my friends. What a Chaos Order is out today. Calum will be signing copies at Jim New Town tomorrow in Sydney. Head to our website, blah, blah, blah.